Good morning. How is everybody this morning? All right. On behalf of Dairy Business Association, it is my pleasure today to introduce our first keynote speaker of the morning. On November 6, 2018, the people of Wisconsin voted Tony Evers the 46th governor of Wisconsin. Prior to his election, he served as the Wisconsin State Superintendent of Public Instruction, winning statewide elections in 2009, 2013, and 2017. With over 3 decades of public education experience, Governor Evers has dedicated his life to fighting for Wisconsin's kids and serving people of Wisconsin. As a lifelong educator, the governor believes in bringing people together to solve the problems facing our state and putting the people of Wisconsin first. He began his career in 1976 and has served Wisconsin students, parents, and citizens all over Wisconsin in Tomah, Oakfield, Verona, and Oshkosh. Born and raised in Plymouth, Wisconsin, Governor Evers graduated from Plymouth High School and earned his bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree in educational administration from the University of Wisconsin-Madison. He is married to his high school sweetheart, Kathy, an educator. They are parents of 3 adult children, all public school graduates, and have 9 grandchildren. Please help me welcome Governor Tony Evers.
It is a little church-like here. That's fine. So good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today. And first of all, happy National Cheese Lovers Day. You already heard that I'm from Plymouth, which I'm sure all of you know is the cheese capital of the world. And one of my first jobs as a young person was scraping mold off of cheese at Borden's Cheese Factory. Still remember that. I didn't like cheese until I scraped it, and now I can't go a day without it. So you can obviously say that I've been a longtime fan of Wisconsin cheese, and obviously the dairies that promote that every single day. Since the last time we saw each other, we've not only passed a budget that made historic investments in Wisconsin's agricultural industry, but we've also been using our federal funds to invest in our farmers and families across our state. While some of our agricultural initiatives were ultimately removed from the budget, the legislature did agree with me on some things, and I signed the budget that included doubling the dairy processor grants annually. We've established a meat processing grant program at $200,000 annually. We've provided additional meat inspector positions, strengthening Wisconsin's meat supply chain that also took a hit during the pandemic. We invested in soil and water health through producer-led watershed protection programs and provided an additional $4.3 million over the biennium for county conservation staffing. We also continued funding the farmer mental health programming at $100,000 annually, and we provided funding for Wisconsin Initiative for Ag Exports, solidifying Wisconsin's commitment to increase exports not only in dairy but meat and other ag commodities. I also recently signed into law legislation that strengthens the relationship between the DATCAP and WEDC with a goal to increase the value of Wisconsin's meat and dairy, or milk and dairy, meat, crop, and other product exports by 25% by 2026. That's something we've been talking about since I delivered my State of State address in January of 2020, so not a minute too soon. Wisconsin products are known throughout the world, and these investments and the hard work of our partners, the future trade and exports look really, really promising. Additionally, my administration has worked to support agriculture through investments in critical infrastructure, such as transportation and expanding access to high-speed internet. Since taking office, we have improved more than 1,700 miles of highways and more than 1,250 bridges across the state, almost all of them in rural areas serving our dairy farmers. And altogether, investments in broadband infrastructure since 2019 will be bringing high-quality internet to over 300,000 households across the state and 20,000 businesses across the state. While all these investments are a major step forward, we still have much work to do, especially as the pandemic has disrupted not only lives but supply chains. And while you're still working to continue producing world-class quality milk for our tables and our cheese makers, I know it hasn't been easy. That's why I have provided $100 million in direct aid payments to farmers to help ease the impact of increased costs, such as raw supplies. These funds have helped approximately 35,000 farmers in Wisconsin, and direct support to farmers in 3 rounds of this program have exceeded $1 million in more than half of Wisconsin's 72 counties. Give you an example, Grant County. Farmers in Grant County received more than $6 million in support, while support directed to farmers in Marathon and Dodge counties exceeded $3.6 million. And in several counties in southwestern, central, and western Wisconsin, the support for farmers exceeded $2 million. Well, I was proud just this last week to allocate up to $5 million of our ARPA dollars to strengthen our food supply chain and meat processing workforce for years to come with a new meat talent program. Now, some might claim that these federal funds are preventing good work from being done in the legislature for Wisconsin's farmers and families. So I'll tell you right now, that's not true. Wisconsin is rebounding and recovering from the pandemic. As a state, we're doing pretty well. We've had unprecedented revenue projections this last year, and we currently have the largest positive gap balance in our state's general fund history at nearly $1.2 billion. We have readily available state resources that could be invested to help support our farmers, their families, our dairy and agricultural industries today, if the legislature wanted to do so. There is absolutely nothing stopping them. And in fact, I've asked them to make those very investments time and time again. Meat processing grants, dairy processing grants, farmers' mental health, you name it. I've asked the legislature for more. So what I want to tell you is this. Don't accept excuses from the legislature for why they won't make new or more investments in our farmers and dairy producers or supporting the supply chain. That's malarkey. No one's stopping the legislature from investing in all of you and folks just like you across our state, except for the legislature, period. So I don't have to tell you that dairy alone represents more than $45 billion of Wisconsin's nearly $105 billion ag economy. And Wisconsin is home to more than 6,500 dairy herds, more than any other state. We're the dairy state. So we can and we must support our state's dairy industry. And there's no doubt about it, it's an area where we can and should be able to find common ground. Wisconsin is America's dairy land, and the work you do is a proud part of our past, our present, and our future. I remain committed to working together to ensure this industry continues to be Wisconsin's strength. So thanks again for all your great work, and I know you've had a great conference, and happy Cheese Lovers Days, folks. Take care.